Well, welcome back everybody. This is the video for lesson 2, page 2. What I've done is I've created a temp folder in my C drive just to make it easy to work, and also I've created another folder which is called lesson 2, page 2, which has a copy of all of the main files which are used in the page 1 of lesson 2, page 1, which is the small picture and the big picture HTML and my various pictures which I used. Now what we're going to do today is look at and investigate the relational and absolute addressing which we can use on these links. Now I have here the information which is downloadable. We're on page 2 here, and we're talking about the hyperlinks relative or absolute. And you can see through here some various examples of the two, and I'm going to go through and basically do the activity which you'll need to replicate using your own photos and writing your own code. Alright, so let's go ahead and do that. I'm going to turn this one off, and first of all let's start experimenting with our images and our HTML. If I open this page up, I'm going to get the browser, will show what I've done. In my case it's tiger, in your case it should be a photograph of yourself, and that's just what we did before. Wonderful. I'm going to just minimize that, and I'm going to make a new folder, which you'll need to do this as well, and it's going to be called images. And then I'm going to move all of my images into the folder called images. And most websites are arranged in this method. It's because you end up with heaps and heaps of images, and they kind of clutter up the place, so when you're organizing for your main website, it keeps them isolated and much easier to work with when you get a larger website with many files. Now if we run this again, or let's say we just open this web page and refresh it, the web browser cannot find the image anymore. So what we need to do is just tell the browser where to look. We'll open this up in code. I'll be right clicking this. If you have XP, by the way, you'll need to shift to see the open with button, and so open up with Notepad. I've got in lesson 1 how to do that much easier if you've forgotten. And now here is our image source line. This is the tag, the image tag, and the source is tiger underscore 200 in my case, but I've actually moved it to the folder images. I use a /, and now this is telling the browser I need to go to the images folder and then look for the picture or the file concerned. I'm going to save that. I'm going to bring back my browser, do a refresh, and hopefully the browser has found the picture, which is good. That is a very good example of a relational and characteristic, as this file is in a relational state compared to, and I'll go back to here, this folder, or this file is in the C temp folder, and the image folder is with it. And so the browser will say, okay, I'm going to assume that this tiger underscore 200 JPG is actually in c.temp/images/tigers, assumed the c/temp because I haven't put that information in, so it just works out where this HTML is and applies that to the front of the string. And so wherever, if we moved all of this folder to a thumbnail or a D drive or any other particular folder, it's still going to work because this path is relative to the location of the calling HTML. So let's prove that. If I close this and I take a copy of the entire folder and I'll go back to my C drive, I'll make a completely different folder which I'll call rel example, which is entirely different. We open that, paste it in, run the small picture again, and it still works even though the pathway is completely different. If we look at the source, and the computer knows that the c.rel example is part of the calling HTML page, and so it's relative to where that web page is. Okay. I'm going to delete that now because I'm not really interested in that, and go back to my temp. Alright, part of what we needed to do is absolute addressing. Now, absolute addressing is fairly easy, and it's simply if I put in the entire path, like C:// temp, and I'm going to remove the image file. Now the web browser would expect that picture to be in C temp, and if it's there, it'll work. If it's not, it won't work. So let's save that, and I'm going to run this picture in, refresh it, and it doesn't work. So how are we going to make that work? Well, let's close all of these tabs to make it a little bit easier. And it's expecting this tiger_200 to be in ctemp, so well, let's do that. We'll get our images, we'll get a copy of this, we'll go back to ctemp. We only have a folder there. Let's paste the picture. Now we have tiger_200 in the right location according to what we've got written here. So if we go and open up the page again, there is the picture. So we've got two different ways of doing this. We have an absolute address, which includes the path, the entire path, or we can have a relative address, which is related to where the HTML page is located. Alright, if you can do the same on your computer and give me a screen dump and an explanation of why the picture works and doesn't work, very similar to what I've just said on this video, just as evidence that you understand and you've experimented with it. That's all you need to do for page 2's activity.